Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is an enjoyable movie experience. It's not better than some of the earlier installments because this is not the complete story. This one, it still is worth the time. Well, after being delayed for so long, seeing this film, I did have a great experience, even though the story got a little bit complicated at times. And speaking of which, the story of this one is that a powerful rogue AI known as the Entity goes on the offensive and it's up to the MIF to put an end to that AI, and as well as the government that is also chasing Ethan Hunt. Plus, an old enemy from Ethan Hunt's past resurfaces, which is a little bit odd considering they introduced this new character 7 movies in the franchise. But I did like the new characters, the return characters, and quite frankly, there were some exciting moments all throughout this film, despite it being over 2.5 hours long. Now, I had said in my previous review of Mission Impossible Fallout, it was going to be hard for them to top that movie, and this film does not do that. Still a fun movie experience though. But overall, this film feels like it was lacking something special that made the last 3 Mission Impossible movies awesome. Nonetheless, when it comes down to it, while not the best in the franchise in my opinion, this is still a remarkable piece of entertainment. Now, this Mission Impossible franchise has aged like fine wine. You really can't say that about other movie series out there, but this is what you want in a Mission Impossible movie. Exciting car chase scenes, stunts done by Tom Cruise himself, and a story that is interesting, but I wouldn't say this movie is better than some of the earlier installments. Like Mission Impossible Fallout, that was an awesome movie. In this, you really have to understand all of the dialogue about what they're talking about. And the talks of Rogue AI, I had gotten Metal Gear Solid 2 vibes here. Like there are some video game stuff that goes on in this movie. And just seeing the old characters return in this movie, such as Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise did a great job. It feels like he's a man on his final mission because obviously this is part 1. And I did like a lot of his characterization in this movie. And then you have other characters such as Benji or Luther, one of my favorite characters in this franchise, or even Elsa. Rebecca Ferguson, great job once again. But there are some new characters in this movie as well. I think that Haley Atwell playing Grace, she did a great job. Every time she showed up on screen, her chemistry with Tom Cruise was actually really good. And then there's Palm Clemente playing Paris. Interesting, I wouldn't be surprised if this character was inspired by the John Wick franchise. But one character I really didn't like all that much, and that was Gabriel. Not a terrible villain, but his performance came off generic, very vanilla, and I really can't say if he's a horrible movie villain, only because this is like part 1, and you know, I gotta say my reservations when part 2 eventually comes out. And that's the thing about part 1 of a movie, you really can't fully criticize the film because it is not the full story. Maybe when part 2 does release next year, it'll be an epic 4-hour movie, but for now, I felt like this movie was missing some key aspects, like an all-told story that made sense. I'm not saying the story in this movie was awful, but it was much to be desired, and certainly it's one of the weaker Mission Impossible films. Still though, at the end of the day, this is a movie that, while I won't say it's my favorite Mission Impossible, there are a lot of things in this film that does make it worthwhile, in my opinion. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. Fans of the long-running franchise will appreciate this film, but not everybody will enjoy this one. Now, the dialogue in this movie is actually very interesting, just learning about this complex AI and how much this feels eerily similar to what's going on in our world with the use of artificial intelligence in entertainment today. And it will be interesting to see how Ethan Hunt's story comes to an end. I am looking forward to part 2. This film, not as epic as past installments like I said before, but still entertaining enough to keep it far from a bore fest. And that is my review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it. In fact, what is your ranking of the Mission Impossible films from worst to best? Alright, this is Slum Guy 172 saying peace out.